great morning to you all. I hope that you've all woken up grateful. And I hope that you've all reminded yourself of all of the things that you have to be grateful for. And I hope you've set a high vibe. Yeah. And I hope when you're seeing a limit, you're automatically tapping into your creative power. And I hope when you're seeing any kind of obstacle, you're taking the time to learn. Because there's a piece of information that you need to acquire to level up. And I hope when you're seeing any setback, you're realizing, oh, okay, I need to reassess. All right? Because I'm going to remind you all this morning that you're sourced by an infinite, unconditional love that loves you no matter what. All right? And this unconditional love that fuels you will block you from things that may damage what is coming for you. Okay? So setbacks are okay. They're not bad things. Nothing in this world is bad or good. It's all for learning. It's all for learning about yourself. It's about learning how to maneuver through your experience in the best way possible for you. All right? And that's going to push me into this morning's topic. First, though, I want to shout somebody out. Okay? Definitely. So, I want to shout Jennifer Ward out. Listen, yes, send me all that info. I appreciate and love you. I figured the other day that post was, I highly doubted it that it was directly, but it was a possibility that you were being affected by a moment like we all do, right? So, anyway, love you lots. Definitely send me the info my way, okay? Because I am down to look at any opportunity that's fulfilling for me and for others in a positive way. Definitely. All right. All right. Now, guys, I'll get back to the live. What I want you all to understand is that you can create your state of being no matter what's happening. And yeah, you may question that and say, how is that possible? Well, it's very possible because of the things that you can tell yourself. Of course we feel things, but I'm going to remind you all this morning that any emotional response biologically lasts 60 to 90 seconds, and anything after that is a choice. Now, what you guys may be thinking is, oh, it's not a choice, it happens automatically. Yes, because it's become an automatic program within your being. Now, I'm going to ask you guys something very clear this morning that you need to ask yourselves. Have you been stuck in a state of misery so long that it feels normal? What do I mean by that? Have you been unhappy for so long that is your norm and that is your baseline? Don't do that. Okay? This has become an automatic programming for your body because you have been feeding off of the negative hormones of all of that. And the moment you try to start feeling better about yourself, well, it's quicker to go back to the ways that you were handling and governing your being than to keep pushing forward. Because that's what your automatic programming has been up until now. Okay? It doesn't have to stay like that. But yes, the minute you start making these changes and believing that you're going to push past it, well, yes, there is the ego that's going to start losing power, going, hey, you have been feeding me negative hormones for 20 years. Do you think for a moment all of these good hormones automatically feel good to me? No, they feel abnormal. So your ego is going to do what's easiest for you. And that is to continue on the path of releasing these negative hormones in your being. But you can choose your state of being. How do I know this? Because my body was addicted to the negative hormones of stress for the majority of my life. Up until I was able to make the shift. And do you know that when I made this shift and started to believe in myself and started to create my state of being and battle what I had, it didn't feel comfortable. No, because my comfort was in my unhappiness and the heaviness of my life. And there was a lot of uncertainty that came with stepping out of that state of being. So, I want you guys all to tell yourselves good things and choose your state that you want to hold within your body. And take a look at whether you speak a certain way and you act a certain way and you tolerate things in your life because of the addiction to the negative hormones. Are you addicted to your own body's negativity? Now that is a state of being that you have automatically allowed to run in your body. So I encourage you guys all to take a look at that so you can change it. Because it's very possible. And when you start feeding yourself positivity and it doesn't feel right, it's because of the change of release in hormones that feels abnormal to you. Okay? Seriously. Because your body reacts biologically to any thought process you're having. Seriously, like even down to muscle movement. If you sit there and hold your face in a way that you're angry, your body is going to release the same hormones of that. If you sit there and smile, force a smile on your face, no matter what you're feeling, well, guess what? It's releasing positive hormones in, as if you were happy. So this is what you got to take a look at within your own being and ask yourself, are you stuck in these ways because your body has gotten so used to feeding off of this stuff? Because that's where your body's comfortable? Don't choose that state of being for yourself, no matter what. That's why continue every day, be repetitive, tell yourself good things, and choose your state of being. And yes, I can guarantee that it's going to feel weird. And there's a lot of uncertainty that comes with that. But you have to be so in love with your being unconditionally that you will allow this transition to happen. Seriously. Because as long as you're stuck in that state, you're working in opposition to what's fueling your life experience here. But that comes with the state of being living in fear all the time, right? If you're living in fear all the time, your body's releasing the hormones of that. And that alone is crippling. So don't be fearful of anything, because that again is a state of being for your body. Choose the right states of being. How do you do that? It is a simple choice. And there's understanding that comes with that yes, it's a process. Especially if you are just now realizing that you are a very negative being. Okay? And we all have to go through that transition before we can make the changes. We have to become aware of what we've been doing. Okay? And we have to accept it. And we have to look at it. And we have to feel it. And we have to forgive it. And we have to heal it by loving it. Then we have to learn from it. And then we have to apply it. And then once we've applied it as learning, removed the emotional charge of it, chalked it up as wisdom, well then, hey, then you can release it. But there's a lot of work in between. And I encourage you guys all to make the simple baby steps. Okay, because I come out here and I talk about a lot of stuff that is a lot of people are not awakened to. They really aren't. And I was, I come out here and I speak about things and I Because I operate from the brain capacity that I operate at, I automatically assume that another, because we're all connected, that the other person has lived to the magnitude that I have, basically, and that they can handle whatever it is that I'm saying. But I guess I'm wrong with that, which is learning for me too, because there has been people coming to me going, Toby, I get what you're saying, but I really don't get it. Okay, because of the programming, because of the conditioning, because of the belief systems, now you can choose your states of being, not according to what you've lived, according to what you choose for yourself. How do you do this? Remind yourself of your core values and what you are operating on for your being. Number one, sit down with a piece of paper and a pen. There's nothing better than the pen and paper, and I've said it many times in my lives. Write this stuff down with a date. Self-reflection and learning about yourself is the best thing on this planet you could learn about. So my answers are going to be different from yours, and like I've said it all the time, because of your unique experience here on the planet. Now, write down all of your best qualities. Don't focus on the things that you think is wrong about you, because there's nothing wrong with you, first of all. Nothing. Even if you're a negative being. Understand that. Because I was a negative being for a very long time until I understood I had to have my spiritual awakening and reconnect to Source, which taught me. That was a learning experience for me, because I needed to be unshackled from my past, and that was the only way. That was the first time in my life I had ever felt loved. Seriously, down to my very core. It was from that moment I understood what love really is. From that moment, I understood the power of the all-knowing. From that moment, I understood that I was not the horror story of my life. But with this knowledge, there's huge responsibility. And that was explained to me too. That not everybody understands this. And who I am as a being on this planet, I needed that so that I could continue my learning and understanding, so that I could pump it out to the world. Okay? Now, from that moment, do you think coming back here with this understanding was easy for me? No, it was a process after. Which I no longer could be the person that I was before. It was impossible. From that moment, I had to create my state. This is my point, okay? All kinds of things had to come up to deal with, because I no longer, that wasn't a part of who I was anymore. So in order to release that, I had to bring it up, and it had to shed. Well, that was not easy, but I had to choose my state through it. So I knew from that moment I was loved. Yes, I was factually, and that I did matter for the first time in my life. Now, that was quite different from what I had believed all my life. So, creating my state, what did I have to do? I had to tell myself that I was okay. I had to tell myself that I was not crazy. I had to tell myself that it was okay, that nobody on the planet would understand what I just endured or lived or had to face, or all of the things that I had to relive. Because let me assure you of this, so many things came up within me that I didn't even know were there. Okay? And all of this stuff was governing my belief systems about who I was, what I was doing, and I was making excuses for being a shitty person. But really, I'm not a shitty person, and I never have been. But I was not being the best person that I could be for myself. So right there, I consider myself being a shitty person. I was always doing for others. I was always pushing forward, putting the best foot forward no matter what. Yes, I had beat death so many times. Yes, I had to realign, and hey, but once I had that spiritual awakening, that was a totally different ballgame. I could no longer be that person. And I had to figure it out from there and choose my state of being. But I had to manipulate my energies in a way that I was okay no matter what. And that's how come I know it's possible, no matter what we're going through. Because I have been through some stuff that I wouldn't wish on another. No way. But guys, choose your state. Tell yourself good things. Honestly. Honestly. There's no better way than to see what's coming in front of you than to create it. And be okay within yourself. All the time. And this is why I encourage you guys to do it, because I know it's possible. I went through full-blown menopause with 0 hormones. I'm done. Menopause is done. Why did it happen so quick and so easy? One, hey, I allowed it to happen. When I saw it happening, I didn't battle it. I embraced it. Completely. And I did it 100% naturally. And then they say once you're gone through menopause, it's very difficult to lose weight after. Okay. That's if you believe it is. My body's shedding the pounds because I had the heart attack. I got to watch what I eat, and I got to watch my vibe and how heavy food makes me. And I watch these things. I don't just eat stuff because it's there. My heart tells me if there's something even that I've eaten too much of, whether it's good or, like, it doesn't matter. But your body knows what it needs to do to fix itself, no matter what it is. But you have to hold your body in a state of baseline in order for your body to heal. Why? Because if you don't, and you are anything but okay, your body is in imbalance. So your body's working on that instead of anything else you want it to do. And that's the real reason I encourage you guys all to create your state of being okay and finding your baseline. What's your baseline? Being okay. Just being. No fluctuation of anything, just a baseline. Find some stillness of okay in your being, and you can create that state for yourself. But only you know what that is, and only you can create that for yourself, and only you can learn from that and apply it to your life. But you need to create a baseline, because if you don't, you cannot heal. Simple. You see, with all of these automatic systems going on in our body, if we embody any other state than being okay, your body's always overworking. You need harmony in your being, which means a flow, okay? Harmony, everything's working in balance. How does that happen? Well, you have to be at a baseline. Simple. If you're in any emotional state whatsoever, your body is trying to be in balance. It's trying to stabilize your body. That's why we have emotional responses according to the energies that we do pick up. Seriously. But that's why you have to allow it to remain the 60 to 90 seconds that it really is. But allow whatever feeling or emotional reaction that you need to have to whatever you're feeling. Have it. Let it be a warning sign to you going, okay, this makes me feel a certain way, because that's what it's supposed to do. 60 to 90 seconds to give you an awareness and a learning of what certain things in your experience make you feel a certain way, so that you can either engage with them or not. Simple. But what happens to us is we have these situations and circumstances and people and all of this other stuff that we harness these emotional reactions to, and we fuel them. Well, guess what? Anything that you're pumping out of your being towards another, you are also shackling to yourself within your body. Because what you're doing to another, you are also doing to yourself. This is why it's so important to remain at a state and create a state of baseline within your being where you are okay. Why? So you are not throwing your own anger, trauma, fear-based stuff onto other beings. And you are not reacting to your life out of fear, out of judgment, out of any of those negativity-based stuff. As long as you've been living in fear, and we all have, this is where our governance of our states comes from. But we can all change that. Because yes, we've all endured different experiences, because no two people can see it the same. And how one endures it will be very different from what another does, okay? And how they endure it. But everybody on this planet matters. Not one person more than another. It doesn't matter who you are, what your name is, what title you have. You matter no more than the person next to you does. And with Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest, and everything we've been conditioned to believe, and how society has manipulated the fear into us, well, guess what? Survival mode creates a state that shackles you to that state. Don't do that for yourself. How do you get past it? You create your own state of being. Best thing to do is create the state of being okay within your being. All the time. Because when you start doing that and you start assessing your own self-reflection gives you keys to open so many doors. Because you see where you alone have been limiting yourself by your thoughts and your beliefs. How you've been creating obstacles for yourself in your life because you have refused to take a look at yourself. How you've had multiple setbacks of your own doing. By simple choices you've made. And by simple reactions you've had. Got to take a look at that stuff. That's where it can be corrected. And that's where you can fix those state of beings within your